And so it was that a fellowship was born. Huzzah! September 6th, 2012, show number 1. 500 screaming kids, most of whom had never been to see a play before in their lives, stream into a gymnasium that echoes worse than the Batcave. This is the sort of situation that they don't teach you about in theater school. Now, we were performing Rumpelstiltskin, and I was playing the title role. Oh, stop the tears, child, for I can spin straw into gold. When all of a sudden, I noticed a little stream of water coming towards the stage. My eyes followed it back up to the source, a sheepish-looking little girl sitting in the front row who had wet herself. Now, maybe she was so engrossed in the material that she just hadn't noticed. Or maybe she was too embarrassed to get up in front of her entire school with wet pants, but at any rate, the girl stayed put. And I could see as the children around her began to scoot away, as the pee pool grew and grew along the cold, hard, unforgiving gymnasium floor. If you're going to pee yourself, you really want to be sitting on carpet. And before long, any child sitting within a 3-foot radius had wet pants by association. Oh, spin, spin, spin with the strange little man. 25 minutes left before this poor kid can get a new pair of pants. Oh, a bigger room with more straw. Well, spin, spin, spin. 15 minutes left and still the children sat, absorbed and absorbing. Oh, if you can guess my name, then you can keep the child, but if not, 10 minutes left and Mandy is starting to zero in on my name. Is your name Sheepshanks? No. Is your name Shortbread? No. Is your name Stuart? No. When out of the corner of my eye, I noticed one of the little boys who has been sitting on the periphery of the pea stand up, and he starts walking towards me. He reaches out and tugs on my costume, looking up at me with determined, worried eyes. Mr. Rumpelstiltskin! Mr. Rumpelstiltskin! What? Somebody pee. Can you save some of your magic straw to clean it up? And then the kindergarten teacher was up and on the stage using the patented teacher sneak walk so as not to be seen. So sorry. Come on, Wendell. Let's get you cleaned up. And off they go. Poor Wendell getting the blame for somebody else's pee. I wanted to shout out, it wasn't him. It was the girl at the epicenter of the pee. It's a frame-up. But I didn't. I just sat idly by while a little kid took the rap for a crime he didn't commit. This moment would probably follow Wendell throughout all of his years of school. From this day forward, he'll be known as Wendell Wetpants, or Whiz Kid Wendell, or Wee Wendell Piss Pants leaking down his leg. Damper than the Danube, bladder bursting like a keg. Now, by the time I looked back to Mandy, I had no idea where we were in the scene or how to get back on track. So I just looked silently out over the audience. My mouth drying, my cheeks reddening, flop, sweat, drip, drip, dripping down my nose. If I make the wrong move, I will completely derail the scene, and Mandy and I will be left gibbering on stage until eventually old Murphy just has to come out from the back and declare that the show is over, and then old Murphy and Mandy won't trust me on stage for the rest of the tour, and I will have to stay in the van with them, and live in hotels with them, and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner with them, all the while the two of them will be off together, whispering to each other, saying that I am the weak link. And how long do you think it will be before they start thinking that they would be better off without me? And then before we know it, I am Boromir, and they are Frodo and Sam, and they leave me dead on the side of a hill with arrows of disappointment sticking out of my chest as they go off
to complete their adventure without me. I looked down at the little girl with the wet pants. The two of us looked in this time warp of embarrassment. I looked at her square in the eyes, and we shared a moment of understanding. And I thought, you did this. You and your urine-soaked compatriots, you shot me full of these arrows. You are the Urukai, your peace circumference, the one ring, and I will have my revenge. Oh, yes, and for Wendell, too, if it takes me until my dying breath, I will have mine.
Is your name Rumpelstiltskin? What did you say? Rumpelstiltskin. Ha! I've got it. Thanks, Wendell. Wendell's eyes lit up, and he waved back to us as he was being led out of the gymnasium. We had said his name on stage. He was famous now. A small victory for Wendell after the indignity that he had just suffered. I gave Mandy a look of unending gratitude before letting out a loud, "Oh, I've been foiled! Foiled!" And Rumpelstiltskin stomped his foot into the ground, and he tore himself apart. The end. But not quite. This girl still had to sit for 5 more minutes while we put on wigs and bandos and sang a song about an egg. I learned something about myself on that first show. I don't like gymnasiums. I don't like using the equipment room as a dressing room. I don't like going to the bathroom in miniature toilets. I'm not overly fond of children, and I don't like children's theater. One show down. 185 to go. We packed up our van and we hit the highway, heading east. Well, when you leave from Victoria, everything is east.
Roadhouse Bill was a big guy. He had big, wide shoulders like a bull. He had legs like redwoods and hands so huge they made the aluminum bat he carried look like a cheerleader's baton. Now, Roadhouse Bill was the leader of a biker gang called the Rancheros. And right now, Roadhouse Bill had a big problem. And Roadhouse Bill didn't like having problems, he liked creating problems. And torching bakeries. Because it made the whole block smell like fresh bread. So Roadhouse Bill and his Rancheros hit the highway, heading west.
Tell everyone.